Hello once again and welcome to PACIS TV. This is the time for the news in English. I am Benjamin Kwizera and these are the headlines. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, arrived in Lomé, the capital city of Togo, on the 15th of Monday to take part to the very first African Aviation Summit and Exhibition. Rwanda has made a significant progress in financial inclusion, with 92% of adults having access to banking and financial services. In Nyaruguru district, the mayor of Nyaruguru, Dr. Emmanuel Murwanashyaka, has called on young people to join the ongoing fight against genocide denial. In international news, just 2 days after returning to Rome, Pope Leon XIV renewed his appreciation for the people of Spain. Welcome to our news edition tonight on PACIS TV. This is the news brought to you in partnership with the Credo Hotel. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, arrived in Lomé, the capital city of Togo, on the 15th of June to take part in the very first African Aviation Summit and Exhibition. Upon arrival, the Rwandan head of state was welcomed by his Togolese counterpart, Fole Esozima Nyansimbe. News in detail. President Paul Kagame arrived in Lomé, the capital city of Togo, on the 15th of June to take part in a very first African Aviation Summit and Exhibition. Upon arrival, the Rwandan head of state was welcomed by his Togolese counterpart, Fore Esozima Nyansimbe. Held from 15th until 19th of June, the event serves as a continental platform aimed to accelerating the growth, modernization, and integration of Africa's air transport sector. The gathering brings together policymakers, regulators, airlines, airport operators, investors, and specialists in aircraft maintenance, training, logistics, and air navigation services. Ground handling companies, cargo operators, development partners, aerospace manufacturers, and aviation innovators are also taking part in the discussions. The summit is aligned with the Single African Air Transport Market known as SAATM and the African Union's Agenda 2063. Its goal is to foster strategic dialogue among stakeholders, showcase sector innovations, and encourage the investment needed to close infrastructure gaps in African aviation. Participants will also explore ways to build a more resilient, sustainable, and competitive African aviation ecosystem, one capable of supporting economic integration and trade between African countries. President Paul Kagame's participation reflects Rwanda's commitment to advancing air transport as a driver of economic growth, regional connectivity, and continental integration. From Togo back to Kigali, Rwanda. Rwanda has made a significant progress in financial inclusion, with 92% of adults now having access to banking and financial services. However, authorities say a considerable gender gap still remains, preventing many women from fully participating in the country's economic development. News in detail by Anike Uwineza.
The governor of the National Bank of Rwanda, Soraya Kuziyaremye, made the remarks during the launch of the Women in Financial Services Rwanda 2025 study in Kigali. The study, conducted in partnership with the National Bank of Rwanda, Access to Finance Rwanda and Women in Finance Rwanda, seeks to assess the role of women in Rwanda's financial sector and identify barriers limiting their participation. According to the central bank governor, Rwanda's financial inclusion rate has reached 92%, with millions of adults now using bank accounts, microfinance services, and mobile money platforms. Despite this progress, women still face significant challenges in accessing financial services and obtaining financing to start or expand their businesses. Soraya Kuziyaremye warned that these barriers not only affect women's opportunities but also slow down the country's economic growth. She noted that narrowing the gender gap in finance and businesses could significantly significantly boost economic performance, adding that Rwanda could gain an estimated $750 million, equivalent to 6% of its gross domestic product. The governor emphasized that promoting gender equality should not be viewed as an act of charity, but as a strategic investment for sustainable development. She also highlighted Rwanda's Vision 2050, which aims to ensure that the potential of every citizen is fully utilized and that no one is left behind. The findings of the new study are expected to help policymakers develop concrete measures to increase women's participation in the financial sector and encourage more women to occupy leadership and decision-making positions in financial institutions. As Rwanda continues its drive toward inclusive economic growth, authorities believe empowering women financially will be key to achieving the country's long-term development ambitions.
From Kigali to Nyaruguru, the mayor of Nyaruguru district, Dr. Emmanuel Murwanashyaka, has called on young people to join on the ongoing fight against the genocide denial, revisionism, and the trivialization of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. He made the appeal during 32nd commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi, with a special focus on families that were completely wiped out in the former communities that now make up Nyaruguru district. More report. During the commemoration, which honored the memory of 256 families that were entirely exterminated in Nyaruguru district, genocide survivor Twagirumukiza Sekunde shared his testimony about the suffering and the hardships he endured during the genocide. He said his greatest wish is for anyone who knows the whereabouts of victims whose remains have not yet been given a dignified burial to come forward with that information so that they may finally be laid to rest with the respect they deserve. The genocide was prepared, and we all know those who committed it. But dear brothers, we would like once again to request any of you who have information about whereabouts of our victims to tell us, because so far there are many victims who we don't know exactly where they are. The Vice President of Ibuka in Nyaruguru District, Jean Bosco Ndagijimana, said it remains painful that some survivors continue to see the remains of their loved ones scattered in places where they were abandoned during the genocide. He urged anyone with information about undiscovered victim remains to share it with the relevant authorities that the deceased can be accorded the dignity and honor that were taken from them. We gather here today to honor the exterminated families during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. As the person who gave testimony said before, let me repeat it. It is still painful that until today, we are still burying our people. Kindly, whoever knows the whereabouts of the victims, please tell us. In his address, Mayor Dr. Emmanuel Murwanashyaka described remembrance as an act of courage and responsibility. He encouraged the young people to actively participate in efforts to comfort and reject genocide denial and distortion, stressing the importance of safeguarding the truth about the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. We call the youth to continue to help us to fight against genocide deniers. The mayor further appealed to anyone who may have information regarding the location of victims' remains that have not yet been buried in dignity to come forward. He emphasized that providing such information would help ensure that the victims receive the honorable burial they deserve and allow their families to find some measures of closure. The commemoration served as a reminder of the importance of preserving memory, honoring victims, and ensuring that future generations remain committed to preventing genocide and promoting unity. The residents of RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU sector in Nyaruguru district say they are pleased that they will no longer have to travel long distances to fetch and save water. Previously, they had to queue for water, which often caused them to lose valuable time that could have been used for other activities. News in detail. The residents of Rusenge sector, particularly those living in Nyamugari village in RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU, have expressed their satisfaction after being provided with access to clean water. They explained that before the clean water system was installed in their village, they relied on water collected from valleys and streams. Accessing this water requires a long journey, and obtaining it often involved waiting in long lines. As a result, school children frequently arrived late to the school and were sometimes sent home by teachers to bring their parents. Adults also lost productive working hours while fetching water. For these reasons, residents say they are grateful for new clean water supply. To have access to water in this area, it was very hard because we had to go to find water in valleys, and sometimes we couldn't find it. Especially for kids who want to go to school, they don't really arrive at the time. Even for adults, lack of water was a very big challenge for our activities, especially for cleaning or making laundries. Actually, to go to valleys 3 times per day was very hard. The mayor of Nyaruguru district, Dr. Emmanuel Murwanashyaka, joined the residents of the village, local authorities from Rusenge sectors, council members and development partners in inaugurating the new water supply system. During the event, he encouraged residents to make good use of water, especially in activities related to hygiene and sanitation, and urged them to protect and maintain the infrastructure that has been provided. In Nyaruguru district, especially in this area, there was issue of access to water. We now proceed to establish pipelines. As we all know, water plays a big role in hygiene. We would like to call upon residents to preserve and to maintain very well these pipelines and exploit very well. The 2022 population and housing census conducted by National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda (NISR) showed that approximately 72% households in Nyaruguru district had access to clean water. District authorities now reported this figure has increased to 89%. Although significant progress has been made, district leaders say efforts are continuing to repair damaged water pipelines and extend clean water services to sectors and communities that have not yet been reached. All right, that was a story from Nyaruguru district. After a short commercial break, we are coming back with the international news tonight.
Muri Gicurasi kuri Canal Plus wicikwa n'imikino y'indyankuriye, aho umwami wa Premier League azambikwa ikamba, FA Cup igahamya ubukaka bwayo, uwegukana Ligue 1 ahangwa imboni, Bundesliga yo ikimaka. Muri Liga mwaba muzi uzitwa igihangange cya Espagne, naho ku ya 30 Gicurasi umunyabigwa zandika amateka mu mukino wa nyuma wa UEFA Champions League. Kuko ugomba kubaho ibyiza bihora kugeza ku ya 31 Gicurasi, gura bone musanzwe ugura wongereho ibihumbi 2 uhabwa amashani yose ya Canal Plus na DSTV English Plus. Gurira ku mucurizi wemewe no kuri Mobile Money.
Banyarwanda, rya shuri rikuru ry'abafurere b'abayozefite rikomeje kuba ubukombe bushyira ku isoko ry'umurimo abize ubumenyi ngiro bufite ireme.
Iryo nta rindi ni St Joseph Integrated Technical College ryongeye gufungura amarembo ku bashaka kuryigamo.
Banyeshuri, amahitamo ni ayanyu. Kugeza abanyeshuri bari kwiyandikisha muri Bachelor of Technology, muri Information Technology cyangwa Construction Technology.
Kwiyandikisha byaratangiye kandi bigeze kuri, dore ko amasomo azatangira ku ya 29 Kamena muri uyu mwaka.
Uwiyandikisha yitwaza inyemezabwishyu y'amafaranga 44,000 by'amafaranga y'u Rwanda, fotokopi y'indangamuntu, diplome iriho umukono wa noteri na transcript z'imyaka 3 kubaje kwiga muri BTech.
St Joseph Integrated Technical College iherereye i Nyamirambo mu mujyi wa Kigali, imbere y'urukiko rw'ubucuruzi, ku bindi bisobanuro wahamagara nimero iri kuri ekara yawe. Saint Joseph Integrated Technical College, igisubizo mu bwubatsi n'ikoranabuhanga birambye.
Icy'ingenzi ntabwo ari ukugira diplome ya kaminuza. Uyu munsi birahagije kuganira n'umuntu byonyine ukamenya ko yize muri kaminuza ibonetse yose cyangwa se ko yize muri kaminuza Gatolika y'u Rwanda, Catholic University of Rwanda, by'umwihariko mu ishami ryayo rya Kigali. Ubu abazi guhitamo neza batangiye kwiyandikisha muri Catholic University of Rwanda Kigali campus ikorera i Nyamirambo. Abashaka kwiga mu mashami y'uburezi kwiyandikisha mu gihembwe kizatangira mu kwezi kwa gatatu, March intake, byaratangiye muri Postgraduate Diploma in Education PGDE. Aba biga muri weekend. Hatangwa kandi amasomo muri Department of Education in Sciences mu mashami ya Economics and Computer Science, Mathematics and Computer Science, Mathematics and Geography na Mathematics and Economics. Hari kandi Department of Education in Arts and Social Sciences mu mashami ya English and Kinyarwanda, English and French, French and Kinyarwanda, English and Kiswahili, Economics and Entrepreneurship, English and History, Economics and History na Economics and Geography. Uhitamo kwiga ku manywa cyangwa se mu biruhuko. Twakira kandi abanyeshuri bafite A1 muri education bakeneye gukomeza amasomo yabo ku rwego rwa A0. Iyandikisha unyuze kuri wa@CUR.AC.RW. Wanahamagara cyangwa ukandika ubutumwa kuri 07 83 18 86 26 cyangwa 07 33 21 46 78 cyangwa 07 88 52 41 98. Wanandika email kuri curkigalikampus@gmail.com.
The only way to being found is getting lost.
Yemwe yashuri bose bashaka ni College Fondation Sina Gerard.
Mama we.
Iri ni ishuri ribumbatiye icyerekezo cy'u Rwanda twifuza kuko ritanga uburezi buhamye mu mashuri y'inshuke, abanza, icyiciro rusange ndetse n'amashami y'imyuga n'ubumenyingiro mu buhinzi, ubworozi, food processing, ubwubatsi, ubukanishi bw'ibinyabiziga, fashion design, gutunganya imisatsi, ububaji n'ubusuderi. Hari n'amasomo y'igihe gito short courses mu mashami yavuzwe haruguru aherekezwa na practice zihagije kuko abanyeshuri bigira mu nganda za Sina Gerard. Sina Gerard International Football Academy yigisha abana guhera ku myaka 6 gucunga ruhago sawa sawa, atletism, imbyino nyarwanda no kwiga amategeko y'umuhanda no gutwara ibinyabiziga nabyo biri mu nyongera y'amasomo. Abana biga amashuri y'incuke n'abanza basoza ibyo byiciro bose bazi gutwara igare. Umwana wa segonderi we atahana uruhusa rwo gutwara ibinyabiziga. Witinda kwandikisha umwana ku ishuri kuri Nyirangarama cyangwa ku mashami ya Sina Gerard Entreprise Urwibutso hose mu gihugu. Ku bindi bisobanuro hamagara 0788535123 cyangwa 0788535999.
College Fondation Sina Gerard.
Twubaka ubukungu bushingiye ku bumenyi.
Available with DSTV English Plus. Subscribe now to your package and enjoy all channels for 30 days. Get a Canal Plus HD decoder for only 5,000 francs.
Umubyeyi nyina wa Jambo yaratugendereye Kibeho n'umugisha w'ijuru.
Yabonekeye abakobwa batatu, Alphonsine Mumureke,
Natalia Mukamazimaka na Marie Clara Mukangango.
Abaho ubutumwa bugenewe isi yose.
Turahirwa kubona umubyeyi w'ijuru, nyina wa Jambo no kwiyumvira icyo yavuze.
Imyaka 25 irashize hatangajwe ku mugaragaro icyemezo cy'umushumba wa Diocese ya Gikongoro gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'Ikibeho.
Hari ku itariki ya 29 Kamena mu mwaka w'ibihumbi 2001.
murararitswe ikibeho ku nguru ya Bikira Mariya ku wa mbere tariki ya 29 Kamena umwaka wa 2026 mu munsi mukuru w'isabukuru y'imyaka 25 y'itangazwa ry'icyemezo cya Kiliziya gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'ikibeho.
Umunsi mukuru uzabanzizwa n'igitaramo cy'abaririmbyi kizabimburirwa n'igitambo cya misa ku cyumweru tariki ya 28 z'ukwezi kwa gatandatu umwaka wa 2026 guhera saa 10.
Nimuze tutaramire nyina wa jambo dusangire ibyishimo by'icyemezo cya Kiliziya ko nyina wa jambo yaje iwacu ikibeho.
Azarababwira ati musenge muhinduke, azarababwira ati ndi nyina wa jambo.
Hanyuma rero ugiye kutubwira impamvu zatumye uhitamo kuza gusaba akazi hano?
Bwa mbere nza gusaba akazi hano nari nabitekerejeho, mbabarire. Murakoze. Mu by'ukuri numvaga mfite ubushobozi ndetse n'ubushake.
So kutiteguye bihagije ni ukutaryama neza. Gonda Farm, le paradis du matelas.
Welcome to our international news tonight. In United States of America, oil prices fall and shares jump after US and Iran deal announced. Oil prices have fallen sharply and global stock markets have risen after the United States and Iran announced a framework agreement aimed at ending their conflict. News in detail by Anike Uinez.
Oil prices have fallen sharply and the global stock markets have risen after the United States and Iran announced a framework agreement aimed at ending their conflict. Brent crude oil, the international benchmark, dropped 4.7% to $83.24 per barrel as investors welcome the signs of easing tensions in the Middle East. U.S. President Donald Trump said the agreement would lead to the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important shipping routes for oil and natural gas. Around 20% of global oil and liquefied natural gas supplies normally pass through the waterway. Pakistan, which has been helping mediate negotiations between Washington and Tehran, said an official signing ceremony is expected to take place in Switzerland on June 19th. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem confirmed that a deal with the United States had been finalized while President Donald Trump celebrated the announcement on social media, writing, "Let the oil flow." However, analysts caution that uncertainty remains because few details of the agreement have been released. Energy market experts warned that oil prices could remain volatile in the coming days until the full terms of the deal become clear. The Strait of Hormuz has been largely closed since tensions escalated following US and Israel airstrikes on Iran in February, raising fears of disruptions to global energy supplies and pushing oil prices higher. For now, investors are betting that the agreement could ease pressure on energy markets and reduce the risk of further disruption in the region.
From United States of America to Vatican. Just 2 days after returning to Rome, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV renewed his appreciation to the people of Spain, saying he was grateful to God for the warm welcome and enthusiasm shown during his apostolic journey from the 6th until 12th of June. Speaking during Angelus on Sunday, the Pope said he thanked the Spanish people for receiving him with great devotion and enthusiasm throughout his visit. The Holy Father also expressed special gratitude to King Felipe VI, who had welcomed him upon his arrival in Madrid and later bade him a farewell at the conclusion of his journey in the Canary Islands. The Pope noted that after a mechanical issue affected the Papal aircraft, King Felipe VI had kindly offered the use of his private plane, enabling the Pope to return to Rome on Friday evening. Pope Leo XIV further acknowledged the efforts of all those involved in organizing the visit, including the bishops of Spain, whom he said had helped to prepare the faithful to welcome him during an apostolic trip. From Vatican to Russia, at least 9 people have been killed in a wave of Russian strike on Ukraine that set a major religious landmark in Kiev on fire. Officials say 4 people were killed in attacks on the Ukrainian capital city, while 5 rescue workers died trying to put out a fire caused by a strike on the northeastern city of Kharkiv. The 11th century Domitian Cathedral was significantly damaged in what President Volodymyr Zelensky called one of the biggest Russian crimes against the Christian culture today. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian drone attack in the Russian city of Tula killed 3 people and wounded 3 others, including a 1-year-old local official announced. Drone and missile strikes set fire to buildings and cars and left more than 140,000 people in Kiev without electricity, that is said by Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor. And that story brings us to the end of our news tonight. But before we close, let's go back to the top stories. His Excellency President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, arrived in Lome, the capital city of Togo, on Monday, 15th of June, to take part in the very first African Aviation Summit and exhibition. In Kigali, Rwanda has made a significant progress in financial inclusion, with 92% of adults now having access to banking and financial services. However, authorities say a considerable gender gap still remains. The mayor of Nyaruguru district, Dr. Emmanuel Murwanashyaka, has called on young people to join the ongoing fight against genocide denial, revisionism, and the trivialization of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. In international news, just 2 days after returning to Rome, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV renewed his appreciation for the people of Spain. Thank you very much once again for being with us. This is PACIS TV English News. My name is Benjamin Kwizera and I wish you a wonderful night.